The road redevelopment project of Bareilly was actually a 25-kilometer road stretch which was redeveloped, keeping the non-motorized transport and pedestrian safety in mind. The prime intervention was to first understand the existing condition of the roads, the existing infrastructure. Of course, the lighting was inadequate, the shoulders were not paved, parking was haphazard, vending zones were not defined, there was waste strewn here and there. Only, as it is in most of the small towns and cities of UP at least, only the tarred part was kind of well defined, and that too also not very well defined in many areas. And all the other areas, which were the sides, the shoulders, sometimes they had nalas, sometimes they had uneven entries to whether it was shops or whether it was entries to homes. So 25 kilometers of road stretches were selected all over the city, which had primary, secondary and tertiary routes. They were all varying from 24 meters to 6 meters in width. Some of them were even very, very small, like gullies. They all had different problems, but broadly the kind of interventions that we did was first categorize them into 10 categories of different widths. We understood what the problems were for different categories. So, for example, for a market street, parking was one of the problems, and the pedestrian safety of the people who were walking onto the street facades was a problem that we sorted. In very narrow lanes, street lighting was a very big problem. A lot of places, the laying of the services underground was an issue. So, we've also implemented a utility duct in one of the prime roads of Bareilly, which is in front of the urban heart, and that's one of the prime roads where a utility duct has been made. So the approach that we had taken was, first we did all the initial surveys. There were recognizance surveys that were done. It was understood that what is the problem that has to be solved. Then there was an overall planning for those 25 kilometers of road where no vending zones were defined, parking zones were defined, main market streets were defined, the non-motorized transport parking areas were defined, on-road and off-road parking with multi-level car parks, those kind of areas were designated. And then the strategy for all the different 10 categories of roads was decided. So the street sections were designed. And then we actually did a detailed survey of all those roads. For example, there is one road which is, let's say, 5 kilometers long or maybe 2 kilometers long. And 1.5 kilometers of road is 6 meters, while the next 1 kilometer is 8 meters. So varying road widths was a problem at times. The design was done in a very detailed manner. Then after the physical survey was done, the detailed drawings were mapped up, and then the actual detailed implementation drawings were made. So the GFCs had all the services, they had the sections, they had lighting, they had dustbins, they had street furniture, footpaths, they had planters along with parking. So all those were defined. And then over a period of the next 4 years, all these were actually implemented on ground, and all the actual issues which were coming on site were resolved. So I'm very happy and proud to say that today our firm Novarch has actually been able to implement all that street road redesign implementation. It's one of the only cities in UP, in Bareilly, where this project is an implemented project. The roads are well lit, they are not strewn with waste anymore, parkings are well defined, pedestrian movement is safe, stormwater drainage has been taken care of, there are greens which are integrated as part of the streetscape, the junctions have been re-engineered, the signages and even the revenue generation for the Nigam has been taken care of by virtue of, sometimes signages, sometimes you have these digital screens which are put, even the railings, some of them have got integrated signage spaces which can be rented out. So all in all, it's a very well thought of urban infrastructure road implementation project which has been implemented, and it is a proud moment for us to be able to present this project to you.